Welcome to another S&P 500 analysis. This is a midweek edition. Today is December 9, 2020. In this S&P 500 analysis, we're going to review the price action, the market internals, and analyze the S&P 500 cash index. Afterward, we will analyze two stocks, one of which is requested by one of my YouTube followers. These two stocks are a couple of the new IPO big data mining software company. They are Palantir and Snowflake. And before I begin, I'd like to ask you to smash that thumbs up button to help me promote and share this video on YouTube. And if you are new or not a subscriber of this channel, click on the subscribe button to subscribe. This will help the channel tremendously. In this S&P 500 analysis, I will use a different format than my weekly S&P 500 analysis that I post on the weekend. Let me know in the comment section below how you like this format, or if you prefer the format I use on the weekly edition, or any suggestion on the format. And if you have any stock you would like to see me analyze in a future video, post that in the comment section below as well. Let's start off with this screen here. Here is the S&P 500 cash index. This is a 3-minute chart. And what I have here is the last 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And you can see here is the new high, new low on the New York Stock Exchange, and the up-down volume ratio, and the VIX, and the put-call ratio, and the daily advance decline for the NYSE. So as you can see on Monday, it's pretty much kind of up and down. Right? It's up and then down in the afternoon, close. Pretty flat, basically at the midpoint of that day there. And on Tuesday, it's a little bit more of an uptrend day, and then today you can see that it's more of a downtrend day. But what to note is, you see the new high, new low. On Monday, it was 283 more new highs than new low, and then on Tuesday, there were 239 more new highs than new low, and today there were 324 more new high and new low. So throughout the week so far, the new 52-week high outnumbered the new 52-week low. And also looking at the up-down volume ratio, you can see that during that down period on Monday, we see the up-down volume ratio went negative. But in the morning, it's pretty much in the positive. And then yesterday, primarily the uptrend day, the up-down volume was all positive, with the high somewhere around here of 2.6, 2.3 to 1. And then today, you can see it kind of mixed bag. Throughout the morning, it was positive, but it was the high right near the open was 2.5, and then kind of got a couple short period of negative there throughout the morning. Then after the lunch hour in the afternoon, the up-down volume ratio turned negative, so more declining volume than up volume. And throughout in the afternoon, at the lowest point, it was minus 2.5. So there were 2.5 times more down volume than up volume at this point, somewhere around almost 2 o'clock in New York time. And you can see that the S&P 500 is kind of basing. We're going to take a look at the S&P 500 a little bit more later on. But this right here just kind of give you a little bit of an intraday look on the price action. And you can see today the VIX started out kind of low near the 20 level. Then all of a sudden it just started climbing up and got to the high point of 22.13. Then kind of hover around that area until near the close, and it come back down a little bit and close somewhere around 21.91, so near 22. All in all, it's still not that bad. I mean, it's still kind of in the low 20. And the fear index, we call this fixed the fear index, is still pretty much in the neutrally cautious. I would categorize it as not really fearful, neither is being complacent. Right? It's not like down at the 12 or the 10 level, and it's not at the 40 level where there is just a whole bunch of fear. Right? And also the put-call ratio started out the day, it was fairly low. It's down with 0.35, 0.36, or I guess market participant was way too bullish. And as the day progressed, you could see that it came up and closed at 0.548. So all in all, it's still in the neutral area as I see it. Not really extremely bullish. Neither is it, buying a lot of put for hedges. It's not into the 0.8, 0.9 area or close to 1 or above 1. Right? So it's at 0.5 and it's not down at the 0.4 or below, in which that a lot of people are basically buying call, betting on the upside. And you can see on the advanced decline started out fairly strong, up at 1,398 more advancing issue than down issue. But then you can see during the afternoon kind of turned negative, and at one point it was minus 620 more decliner than advancer. Then near the close, it kind of peaked back above the positive and closed with 64 more advancer than decliner on Wednesday today here. So let's go and take a look at the other intraday chart that I also keep an eye on throughout the day. And then we could go to that and we go and look at the S&P 500 cash index. Then we finish it off with looking at those two stocks that I mentioned earlier. And here is the another screen. I have the ES, the E-mini S&P 500 future on this chart here, and the E-mini NASDAQ 100 future here. So on the bottom of this screen, are the up-down volume ratio up here for the NASDAQ and the Russell 2000. And this is the net up volume minus down volume. All these chart is plot on a 3-minute period. Okay, so you can see that as the day progressed, we can see what all these chart looks like or how it behaved. This is the advanced decline, the difference between the advanced minus the decline. And here is the tick. Right, we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to this chart here. This is the up-down volume for the New York Stock Exchange, and here's the up-down volume ratio. Okay, this is the net difference between the up volume minus the down volume, and here's the daily advanced decline. Right, the net difference between number of advanced minus the number of declining issues. And here's the tick, and this is the cumulative tick. So basically, I just kind of use a little bit of a formula to extract and get an approximation of the tick to allocate how many is down tick and how many of them is up tick, and take the net difference between the up and down tick, and then we'll basically just plot it throughout the day. So it kind of gives us some idea of the buying and the selling pressures. On the New York Stock Exchange, it opened positive, up volume, outnumbered the down volume, and then all of a sudden, after lunch, when it come back, basically we saw the down volume overtake the up volume, so it become more negative. And as the close, getting near the close, we saw this came back up, and then you see the advanced decline open up, almost at the 1500 level, and throughout the day it came down and turned negative, and that's when the declining issues become more than the advancing issues, and then we see it come back up throughout the afternoon and close just barely above the zero line and close at the 64 more advancing issue than declining issue. Now on the accumulative tick here, on these tick, remember I have this dashed line is the plus 700, and right here is the plus 1000, and this is minus 800, plus 800, plus 1000, and minus 1000. And the way that the tick works, the way that I look at it is when it get above 500, I mean there's some buying program is active, and when it get up to 800, I mean, we are seeing more buying program active, and then once you get that 1,000 or higher, then there are a lot of buy program being executed. So there's a lot of buying pressure. And likewise, when you get minus 500, I mean, there are some sell program active. There are a lot, a bit of selling now. And then when you get to minus 800, and there are quite a more selling pressure, quite more sell program active. And once you get down to minus 1,000 or lower, then there are a lot of selling program coming in. So there are a lot of selling pressure. So you can see there are a couple of minus 1,000 and below, but there's quite a number of them near the 800, and a lot of them up at the 500. So there's a lot of sell program today. Even in the morning here, you can see a lot of selling pressure. The buying pressure is not that great. Right? Even here, it's basically just 200, 300, and a couple of them above 500. Right? Until the latter part of the afternoon, we saw a little bit buying coming in, and that's where we see this move here, right? From the AD, the advanced decline. Also, there's more issue turning back up, and also the up volume was also coming back in, and you can see the future is also coming back up. So that kind of reflect on the S&P 500 cash index as well. And the Nasdaq 100 in the Nasdaq market, you could also see that the up volume open up. The volume open with up volume. Then somewhere in the noon hour, it turned negative and it just sold off and remained down here. Matter of fact, it got a little bit more selling toward the close in the Nasdaq. You see this down volume kind of got more negative, right? And then the advanced decline, same. It opened up strong right up here, somewhere around 1,300, and then right near the before the noon hour, 11 o'clock Eastern time, turned negative and tried to get back up above that before noon, and then it just kind of went south on it until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, kind of recover a little bit, but still it finished with more than 1,000 declining issue than advancing issues. And also you see that the tick, you can see that quite a few beneath the 800, and then also a few at minus 1,000. See, this right here is minus 800, and even near the close, the last hour or so, we see that there was one 800, minus 800 down here. Although we got a little bit buying in the afternoon here. See, this is above 500. So we got quite a few that is above 500. So there was some buy program in the afternoon. But again, there were more sell program throughout the day in the NASDAQ and the buy program. So that's why we see the NASDAQ future, is down quite a bit, over 2% today, and didn't get too much of a bounce back from the low here. Although it is still kind of basing here. So we'll keep an eye on this. And right now, let's go and take a look at the S&P 500 cash index. Now let's take a look at the daily chart of the S&P 500. You can see that the S&P 500 came up to close to this 3720. Remember that 3720 was the 127 extension of the Fibonacci swing that I put in based on the February high and the March low. If you want to see that, just go back to my weekend video and you could watch that to see where I came up with this 3720. So we know that 3,700 is a round number level that make good nightly news headline, right? The local news headline. So it went above that, peak above the 3,700 and unable to stay above that. And you can see this pullback here. So right now we're essentially looking for a continuation move toward these target level here, these major move that we have. Essentially for this particular bull flag that we were looking at during the weekend video. So right now, yeah, wouldn't be surprised to see a pullback and come down and test this 3645.99, essentially this breakout point, this breakout level here of this flag. Right, so we could see a little bit of a pullback here, and even might come into this flag here. Matter of fact, on the weekend video, we were talking about that. There could be a possibility that it could pull back and fake everybody out on this breakout, this bull flag breakout, down to the 3588, and then we see if we could get a bounce and then break to this 3720 and come up toward the 3800 level. There's nothing wrong with this chart here or the S&P 500. Just because we have a down day doesn't mean that is the top. So any kind of pullback would be welcome, in matter of fact, for some sort of consolidation and set it up for the next move up. And here's the cash index of the NASDAQ. Remember, we were also talking about this thing might pull back, get a little bit of a fake out. And if it come back into this balance area, and if it doesn't get a bounce off of these various level here, then we could ultimately see it retrace back down to the other end of this range here, which would be 10,677. So right now, it seems like it is trying to sneak back in to this area, but we also have this zone here. So we're going to see, would it get a bounce off at the 12,204 area and come back up, because the next target level, that is 13,000 that we're going to look at, right, to pay attention to. Okay, so all in all, you see this been trending up, and right now we just get one big day of pullback. Doesn't mean this is the end of the this bull market or whatever you want to call it. And here's the Dow Jones Industrial. The Dow Jones Industrial, we're looking at this little flag here, and essentially, I mean, this channel, so essentially this is like a bull flag, and these are the major move target that we talked about on the weekend video. And all in all, it's still intact, right? It's still hovering up at this upper trend line here. So if it could break through, then we're basically looking at this 31,000 round number level for the nightly evening news headline, right? Okay, but if it's pulled back, then we could expect it to maybe come down and retest this 29,199, essentially this pivot high here, right, to see would it get some support and bounce back up. And look at the transportation. The Dow Jones Transportation actually closed at a new closing high today, right? So this is the index that closed at a new high today. Now, this doesn't mean this single index closed at a new high, that's a top. To the contrary, based on the Dow theory, this is a signal, a message from the Dow theory to say that expect the Dow Jones Industrial to make a new high. We see this Dow Jones Transportation continue to move higher. And again, the next round number is the 13,000, right? So we could be looking at that. And if it pulls back, then we're basically looking at this 12,379. And here is the Russell 2000. You see the Russell 2000, it broke through this channel, and right now it's still sitting above the channel, trending upward here. Okay, so we're still targeting 2,000, and if it pulls back, we could look at it, the possibility of coming back into this zone here, this Fibonacci retracement zone, and possibly retest this all-time high that was made back in 2018 of 1742. So that is the look on the indexes. So now let's go and take a look at the two stocks that I mentioned earlier. The first one is Palantir. Now here on the screen is Palantir, the daily chart here. You can see that it came IPO back here, what was that, September 30th. Okay? And then a few days later, it made a low of $8.90. Then it started to rally and came up just about a little bit less than 2 weeks ago. Made a high of 33.5, and there you see a pullback, and then pullback to somewhere around the 22.5 level. And right now, it seems like it's making a little bit of a bounce, right? And here are some of the levels that I have marked off for potential resistance and support here. Okay. Now the first thing is I want to look at here is let's use the Fibonacci retracement tool and see what are some of the possibility on this retracement. Okay, you see that the pullback here came down to this 50% level. Okay, here's that 50% level of 2120. It came up to the high of 32.5, came down to near that 50% level and got a push off and came back above this retracement zone, I call it, between the 38.2 and the 61.8. So right now it went up and found a little bit of resistance near this 30.15 and then came back down. Right now it's sitting around this 26.70 support here. So if you also look at this trend line here, we also got a little bit of a trend line going as well, right? So it basically is if this thing could come back down and find support here at 24.27 or near this 38.2 and then bounces off and take out this high, so it form a higher high, then essentially taking out of this this declining trend line here, then we could very well see a retest of this 32.5 and possibly move above it. Okay, so now if we go and take a look, drill this down to the 60-minute chart. So here are some of the levels that I'm looking at right now. This is the retracement point, right? The 50% area, and you can see that it came up to this 30.15 here, pull back, and then today it dipped below the 26.7 and found resistance. So what previously is support now turned into resistance. You see here is support here, and then here's a resistance, and you can see that there is a little bit spike down immediately, got rejected and bounces off. Okay, so right now sitting here at this resistance level. So I'd be watching to see would it get back up above this and move up here. I wouldn't be buying it here. I wouldn't be buying here because I want to wait until it come back down into this retracement zone, possibly back to this area here, near the 24.27. Come down here and then see, does it get a bounce off here? Then I would maybe possibly look at setup for taking a long. And even that, the upside might not be that great because you're basically looking at somewhere around this 30.15 level here. So we'll see because if I take a long, if I take a long here at 24.27, then basically I'm playing it for a potential 6 point. And depending where my stop going to be, if it's going to be down here at the 23 level, then yeah, it still be a good all in all, because if I risk 1 and make 6, that's not bad. So we'll see. I think right now I wouldn't be chasing this thing up. If it pull back to the 24 area, then I'll probably be looking at it. And if it come back all the way down to this 50% retracement at 2120, then definitely we'll keep an eye on it to see is this going to break below. If it comes below this 50% and then break down to this 618, then I wouldn't be looking for long at all. I'd be looking at something else. Okay, so that's Palantir. And here is Snowflake. You can see Snowflake went public on September the 16th, and it made a low of $208.55. And just yesterday it went high as high as 429. And then as you see, this is pretty ugly topping candle. A lot of long got trapped up here, and today is kind of pulled back along with the market here. And these are some of the potential support and resistance level that I have. And right now, if we also take a look at the Fibonacci retracement from this point here, okay, so you can see there's still a little bit more room before it come into this retracement zone here, right, between the 282 and a 618, and that would be 353 and 306. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit more pullback. I like to see that myself, to see would it come back into the 50% level and essentially come down to this trend line here, right? And be looking for a possibility to see we get a bounce and play the take along and maybe play it back up at least to this level here at 371 area. Basically today's close, okay, or maybe even higher, but at least be looking for that possibility. Okay, so let's go and drill down on the 60-minute chart here, and you can see on the 60-minute chart. See, here's that resistance area. Finally broke through here yesterday and came up here and make this high. And you can see that it just came right back, and then all of a sudden, this level here, that 395.25, become resistant. And then today it's kind of pulling back. So I'm looking for this thing here, the 382 at 353 area, and also here's that resistance. Could see if we could see this turn into support and pushes back up at the $343 level, and if it doesn't, then we're basically looking for this 50% level at $329.63 area. Now, this level is not absolute. It's basically the proximity of these levels. That's why we'll be looking at price action to see what it is doing. Does it warrant some sort of maybe a trade opportunity on the long side or the short side? So it all depends on what your bias is. So right now, I'm basically looking at this to see would it be able to get down to this 58% level and get a bounce off and come back up above the 382 at this 353 level to take along and maybe play it back up to this potential resistance at 395. Because again, basically you got this downtrend now on these 2 points here if you want to draw a trend line. And essentially you could encounter resistance right up here at 369.90 at 370. So essentially somewhere around this area here, right? So this little bit of a support could turn into resistance. Okay, so that's basically what I'm looking at to see would it be able to get a bounce off the 50 level at 329. And if it doesn't, then again, anything that goes to the 618, go to this retracement zone on the downside, I wouldn't be looking for it to go back up. I'd be looking for it to come down and find some support, and maybe it won't stop until it see 272. Who knows, right? Because right now, we're basically just looking at these 2 levels here, okay? Well, actually 3, because we also got this low, support, potential support from the prior resistance, right? So it's 353, 343, and 329. Okay, so that is this week's midweek S&P 500 analysis. I hope you like it. And if you have any suggestion on the format or stock that you'd like to see in the future, drop me a note on the comment section below. Be sure to smash that thumbs up for me to help me share this video and promote this video on YouTube. Thank you for watching and stay safe.